Hello student, today we will discuss about your history unit 3 chapter 1, Nationalism in India, First World War, Khilafat and Non-Cooperation Movement. Now first of all, what is the meaning of nationalism? A nationalism is a state of belongingness towards a nation or an ethnic group, the feeling, the sense of oneness. Patriotism, this is called a nationalism. A person who is not connected with a nation is said to have no sense of belongingness, oneness. So, this unit 3, chapter 1 is all about Indian national movement. In India, the growth of modern Indian nationalism is intimately connected with or connected to the anti-national movement. That means against British. So here, during this Indian national movement, we have seen for the first time different group of Indians came together and fought against British. The Indian national movement can be studied under 3 periods. The first period starting from 1885 to 1904. So this first period of Indian national movement is known as moderate phase. The second period of Indian national movement from 1905 till 1918. So this second period of Indian national movement is known as extremist phase. And the third one, from 1919 to 1947 till India gets independence, is called as Gandhian phase or Gandhian era. So here in this unit 3, chapter 1, we will be discussing about this period, 1919 to 1947, Gandhian phase or Indian national movement under Gandhiji. But before we start our main topic, the Indian national movement under Gandhiji, I just want to mention about one very, very important event that had affected the whole world. What was that? The First World War. The First World War broke out in the year 1914 and lasted till 1918, just before 1919. So, what is the importance of the study of First World War? I want to ask you one question here. Did India took part in the First World War? No. India decided to remain neutral. But one very important question I can ask you here, what were the effects of First World War on India? You must be thinking, India did not take part in the First World War. How come First World War affected India? Okay, I'll tell you now. Since India was under the British rule at that period of time, and England was one of the main countries to take part in the First World War, it had That's why it had affected India. So we will talk about some of the effect of First World War on India. This First World War had created a new economic and political situation in India. This war had created a huge increase in defense expenditure. This defense expenditure of England was financed by war law, and mostly from the increasing taxes. Taxes from whom? From the people of India. And not only this, custom duties were also increased. And another new tax was introduced, income tax. Income tax was introduced. And throughout these war years, that is 1914 till 1918, prices of every commodities in India had increased, doubled, creating an acute suffering, hardship of the Indian people. So these were some of the effects of the First World War. Villagers were also called upon to supply soldiers. Forced recruitment was also introduced. These measures of the British had led to a widespread anger among the Indian people. The suffering did not end here. From the year 1918 till 1921, there was outbreak of famine in India. There was an acute shortage of food everywhere. Then, beside this, there was also spread of plague epidemic. So the First World War, the natural calamities, had greatly led to the hardship of the people in India. According to the census of 1921, it was believed that about 12 to 13 million of people lost their life due to starvation and epidemics. So now we will come to our main topic, 1919 to 1947, the Gandhian phase. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in January 1915 from South Africa after a successful Satyagraha movement out there. What is the meaning of Satyagraha movement? Or what do you mean by Satyagraha? The idea of Satyagraha emphasized the power of truth or search for truth. The Satyagraha movement suggested that if the cause was true and the struggle was against injustice, then physical force is not necessary to fight the oppressor. A Satyagrahi can win a battle through non-violence. Mahatma Gandhi believed that his dharma of non-violence could unite all the Indians. After arriving from South Africa, Mahatma Gandhi organized Satyagraha movement in various places in India. In the year 1917, he traveled to Champaran in Bihar to organize a Satyagraha movement. He inspired the peasants in Champaran to organize a Satyagraha movement against against oppressive plantation system there. He was successful in Champaran. Then in the same year again, he went to Kheda district in Gujarat to support the peasant with Satyagraha movement. The people in Kheda district in Gujarat were badly hit by crop failure. Then next year, that is in the year 1918, again he went to Ahmedabad to organize a Satyagraha movement amongst the cotton mill workers. So after continuous success in Satyagraha movement, in Gandhiji's movement, people started recognizing him. In the year 1919, the Imperial Legislative Council had hurriedly passed the Rowlatt Act. And this Rowlatt Act is also one of the main cause of the non-cooperation movement by Mahatma Gandhi. So what is this Rowlatt Act? A Rowlatt Act is an act that gave an enormous power to the British government to repress every political activities and to detain anyone for 2 years without trial. So Mahatma Gandhi, and not only Mahatma Gandhi, all the Indians were against the passing of the Rowlatt Act. Mahatma Gandhi decided to launch a movement against the passing of Rowlatt Act. He decided to start the Satyagraha movement, a white mass movement in India, starting on April 6, 1919, that would begin with a hartal. Do you know what is meant by hartal? A strike, boycott. So Mahatma Gandhi decided to start a nationwide struggle against such unjust law, the Rowlatt Act. So on April 6, he introduced the Satyagraha movement in India. Rallies were organized. Railway workshop workers went on strike. All the shops selling foreign goods were closed down. Then on April 10, police had fired upon peaceful Indians who were taking part in a procession. So this act of the British had provoked a widespread attack on banks, post office, and railway station. Alarmed by the struggle, the British did not stay quiet. They also retaliated and arrested all the local leaders from Amritsar. Even Mahatma Gandhi was barred from entering Delhi. So the British government later on imposed a martial law. What do you mean by a martial law? Martial law means prohibiting of the gathering of people. As the martial law was imposed, General Dyer took command. Then on April 13, the infamous Jallianwala Bagh massacre took place. What happened on that day? on April 13, 1990. On this very day, a large crowd gathered at enclosed ground of Jallianwala. Many villagers came here to protest against the government's new repressive measures, but majority of the people from neighboring villages were unaware of the martial law that had been imposed. They came here to attend the Baisakhi fair. As the news of gathering here in Jallianwala Bagh reached General Dyer, he came with his force and closed all the exit and ordered open fire to the innocent people. So in the open fire, hundreds of Indians were killed. So this event is known as Jallianwala Bagh massacre in the history of Indian national movement. When the news of Jallianwala Bagh massacre spread, many Indians started strikes, clashes with the police, railway stations were attacked, post office were attacked. All the government buildings were also attacked. But on the other side, the British government did not remain a mere spectator. They also replied back to the Indians with, or responded the Indian with a brutal repression. Many leaders were arrested. People were made to rub their nose on the ground. People were made to salute the Sahib. Villages were flogged and bombed. So as the non-violence movement started by Mahatma Gandhi is turning towards violence, Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw his movement because this was not his policy. So immediately he withdrew the non-cooperation movement. He was of the view that the Satyagrahi need a proper training before starting a mass movement. And it could not be possible without uniting the Hindus and the Muslims. So he was looking for an opportunity to unite the Hindus and Muslims. And yes, he got one opportunity to unite the Hindu and the Muslim. What was that? That was the Khilafat issue. Okay, now I'll explain a little bit about Khilafat movement in India. The Khilafat movement is also known as non-cooperation movement because non-cooperation movement was started by Mahatma Gandhi under his Khilafat movement. He was the leader of the Khilafat Committee. The First World War ended in the year 1918 with the defeat of Ottoman Turkey. So with the defeat of Ottoman Turkey, a rumor spread here in India. What was the rumor? The rumor was that a harsh peace treaty was going to be imposed on Khalifa. Who is this Khalifa? religious leader or priest of the Islamic world. So the Khilafat Committee was formed in India by the Muslims in India to protest against the rumors that was spreaded in India that a harsh peace treaty was going to be imposed against the Khalifa. So here Mahatma Gandhi actively supported the Khilafat Committee. The Khilafat Committee was founded by a young Muslim leader, namely Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. The two Ali brothers founded the Khilafat Committee. So Mahatma Gandhi actively supported the Khilafat Committee and had a thorough discussion with Ali brothers. So Mahatma Gandhi discussed with Ali brothers the need of launching a more broad-based movement in India. They traveled to different parts of India to gain the support of the Indian people. Mahatma Gandhi once wrote in his book Hind Swaraj, the British rule could be established in India because of the support of the Indian people. And if the Indian people does not cooperate with the British, then the British rule will collapse within a year and Swaraj will come. So this is what he wrote in his book Hind Swaraj. So Ali brothers and Mahatma Gandhi decided to launch a broad-based movement in India in the form of a non-cooperation movement. And the non-cooperation movement was to be unfolded in different stages. Firstly, with the surrendering of titles that had been awarded by the British government, and then boycott of civil service, boycott of army, police, boycott of court, boycott of legislative council, boycott of schools and colleges, boycott of foreign goods, etc. So in the year 1920, the Congress session at Nagpur had adopted the final program of the non-cooperation movement. But we all know that non-cooperation was slowly turning towards violence. So once again, Mahatma Gandhi had to withdraw the non-violence. You must have heard about one incident, that is Chauri Chaura incident, where police station was burned down and about 22 policemen were killed. So with the movement turning towards violence, Mahatma Gandhi had no option but to withdraw his non-cooperation movement. That's all for today. We will continue in our next video, the second chapter of the Unit 3. Thank you.